The Battle Bricks has a variety of bosses in its main chapters, appearing every 10 stages, with 3 more being added with the recent release of Chapter 5. In this video, I'm gonna be covering every main chapter boss in a list from what is worst to what is best in my humble opinion. I will only be covering normal mode in this video and only the main chapters. That means no to more mode and no sub-chapters. I will be going off a few criteria to rank these bosses. Firstly, bosses should be fun and interesting, like by introducing a new mechanic or testing an already established mechanic in an intuitive way. Bosses should also be memorable. I'm sorry, Monsalt. Good bosses will leave an impression, either through good gameplay or through fun and bubbly designs that will get you delicious collabs in asymmetrical horror slop games. With that in mind, let's get to the ranking. In last place at number 15, we have Captain Red, the first boss of Chapter 2. He sits in the backline and slowly charges up his cannon that deals big damage and knockback in an area. The slow charge up for high damage feature is cool, but he's just not interesting and one of the most forgettable bosses in the game. Dr. Despair is the first boss of Chapter 3. He blinds your units and sometimes heals his allies while relying on peons to push forward. There's not much to him, his stage has a solid theme though, and he likes plants. Next is Paintmaster, who is actually the first boss in the entire game, appearing at stage 10 of chapter 1. It's an introduction to bosses as a whole, and it's really good at that. Paintmaster is a simple backliner boss that stays behind meat shields and shoots powerful paintballs at units. He has a gimmick of taking out his sniper and one-shotting a unit every once in a while. He's still ranked low though, as he doesn't have much else going for him compared to all the other bosses. Regardless, he's pretty iconic as he serves as the role of being the first boss ever. Next is, surprisingly, the first final boss of a chapter on this list, and it's none other than Doombringer, the final boss of Chapter 1. He's slow and has resistance from his bucket helmet. He goes up to units and slams down his hammer in slow intervals, dealing decent damage in an area. When you get him down to 2000 HP, he does a shockwave attack to kill all your nearby units and backliners, and unleashes his rage mode where he loses his bucket and hammer, getting rid of his resistance but speeding him up and letting him punch your units at a much faster rate. He's the first final boss in the game, and he's a very solid final boss who can apply a lot of pressure on first time players. He's just not that interesting compared to the rest of the bosses on this list. And right after the first final boss on this list, we have another final boss, that being Turking, the final boss of Chapter 2. He mostly just swings his sword, but he has 3 phases to enter once you get him low enough. When he enters the second phase, he occasionally spawns these Titan minions, and once he gets very low, he heals a lot of HP and starts puking out fireballs on your units. I'm not sure whether he's more interesting than Doombringer, but I ended up ranking him slightly higher than Doombringer. Turking's not that big of a threat, basically just being a sploinky little dude. DJ Radical is the second boss of Chapter 2, being the first Stage 20 boss on this list. Stage 20 bosses are overall very memorable and well known within the community, arguably even more than the Stage 30 ones. DJ Radical is one of the less popular ones, but he's still pretty unique. In his first phase, he moves slowly and blasts his wonderful music to paralyze all your units, acting as a support. Once his HP gets low, he will get in his car and start ramming into units with it, which deals area damage and knockback. Him just getting in his Ratmobile to run over units is pretty funny. Insecure is a pretty interesting boss, also being a stage 21, being the second boss of Chapter 3. It moves fast but jumps back to hide behind frontliners if it gets too close to your units. It can spawn these creepy red mask things that fly around and shoot at your units, and every now and then Insecure will go into the background and spawn a random set of a bunch of enemies that will walk straight forward and into the battlefield. It's a really fun stage mechanic-wise. Okay, Monsalt is really cool. She's the first boss of Chapter 4. She can hop into the front of the stage and back, and she has a gimmick where she spawns other chess pieces as mini-bosses and stays invincible until you manage to kill the other chess pieces. There are 3 mini-bosses she spawns, the Rook, the Bishop, and the King, and they all do different things. Monsalt is definitely one of the coolest Stage 10 bosses. Chef Sarge is a pretty straightforward and well-made boss, being the first boss of Chapter 5, and wow, I love this guy. First off, his whole stage is just a big pizza tower reference, with Sarge and also the Pizza Pal enemy sharing many sound effects with Peppino. Sarge has 3 phases. In his first one, he swings his frying pan into units, occasionally tossing out an exploding egg to kill your backliners, and occasionally throwing up green fire into your units. Once he enters his second phase, he takes out a shotgun and starts blasting it at your units, doing high damage. Every shot will have recoil and push him back, which helps him stay in the backline for when he has to stop and reload after every few shots. Once all his frontline zombies are dead and he has no more defense to hide behind while reloading and your units catch him lacking, you'll get him to his third phase where he starts fighting with his zombie turkey. He's a very strong and interesting boss. Martyr, the second boss of Chapter 4, is definitely among the most famous characters to come out of the Battle Bricks. I wonder why.
This is Martyr 1X, or as people like to call it, Gubby Samurai.
Anyway, Martyr stabs and swings her katana at units, occasionally doing a big jump backwards to throw a barrage of kunais. Once you pop her totem of undying, she starts flying behind the stage and throws more kunais, and makes it rain katanas across the stage, and turns into a tornado and slices through units. Her stage and theme are also really beautiful. Now, why did I put Jedrock this higher than bosses who are arguably way more interesting than him? Well, he's just really iconic. And is easily the best boss of Chapter 1, being the one on stage 20, and he has the best stage music in the entire game despite being encountered this early. The stage starts in this huge open area with Jedrock slowly approaching, which truly makes it feel like a boss fight. Jedrock himself shoots high damage rockets from a distance, and every now and then he can fly up and toss grenades somewhere into your line of units. Once you defeat him, he gets a cool animation where he realizes he's toast and flies off to explode in the background, both of which are really cool features for a Chapter 1 boss. Now we're getting to the top 4, the really good ones. And in 4th place, we have Exec, the final boss of Chapter 3. Exec is a backliner who shoots stunning lasers at units and uses random admin commands to give his team an advantage. Halfway through, Exec overclocks his allies and sends himself back to the red base. Once his HP gets low, he corrupts everyone and makes himself big, which increases his damage. The admin commands, although painful to go up against at times, are a super cool feature. Exec is also the cutest boss in the game, like, aw, he's just a little scientist. The number 3 spot goes to... oh wow, it's another one from Die of Death. Caestus is the final boss of Chapter 4. In their first phase, they move slowly and swing their gravity hammer at units, occasionally tossing teapots or throwing gang signs. In their second phase, they power up and move faster, but once you pop their totem, they throw away their hammer and go absolutely haywire, speeding up a ton and gaining an entire moveset to show just how pissed off they are. They can now throw really fast punches, jump back and throw huge barrages of teapots at your units. They can straight up go ahead and kidnap one of your units into the sky to make them disappear forever. They can fly across the stage and throw giant teapot meteors at your units. Oh, and if there's a small ally of theirs in their way, like a knight or a wind force, they'll just kick them over to your units and have them explode. Oh, also, a small secret interaction. If they ever try to grab a tarnished wall or your base, they won't be able to, and they will become ultra pissed off, heal all their HP, and get super buff damage. And they will become that signature tint of blue that Caesar becomes when getting enraged and die of death. I love how genuinely angry and powerful Caesar feels. Modern shows wish they could have crash outs like this. Lycan is the latest final boss to be added to the game, and wow, you can really see it. This is easily the most scenically beautiful so far. The rain, the gloom, the darkness all set a great atmosphere for this amazing boss fight. Before you fight Lycan themselves, you have to defeat Stem, a tanky boss linked to Lycan. Lycan will be inactive and sitting at the red base asleep during this. Once you kill Stem, it will play an entire cutscene with text and black borders, followed by Lycan, who is massive by the way, waking up and you getting a crosshair where your cursor is. With the crosshair, you have to shoot the glowing trees that will sprout in the background. These trees will heal Lycan, and they require you to spam click on them for a bit to get rid of them, which really starts to hurt your fingers after a while. Lycan can stab their sword, summon more stems and roots, and they can crouch down to... Wow, this game really likes vomiting. After damaging them enough, they will lose their legs and start crawling on the ground, which lets them move faster. 2 trees will now start spawning at once, so you better spam faster. Once you get them even more low, another cutscene will play, challenging you as they enter their final phase. The rain will be heavier now, and 3 trees will spawn at once, along with Lycan being buffed. After you kill them, they will compliment you and foreshadow to more mode. This boss is absolutely beautiful. And at number 1, we have none other than FunKid. FunKid introduces the mechanic of minigames and stages by introducing the crosshair, which you have to click on targets with. I really like this because it adds more gameplay than just spamming all your units and hoping for the best, which is essentially the formula that games like the Battle Cats used. Adding a secondary objective in the form of a minigame strays away from that formula, which is great. FunKid shoots at units with his gun. He will occasionally throw out targets which you need to click on. If you don't click on a target in time, FunKid will insta-kill one of your units. After a bit, he shoots his gun into the air, which makes the tiles in the background open up with a bunch of targets behind them. After triggering the minigame, FunKid will be invincible and he will start emoting. I love his goofy little dance. Most of the targets that open up will be ones you have to hit, but there will also be some that you shouldn't shoot, the ones with X's on them. If you fail a minigame too many times, a bulk kit will spawn, an extremely strong enemy that's basically a death sentence. After you shoot more of the targets in the background, FunKid will start throwing out more targets as well as bombs that you should avoid shooting. I love how you have to pay attention to what to hit and what not to hit, and the fact that it feels pretty dynamic. When the targets open up in the background, FunKid stops and dances, he doesn't push further. This way you can focus on the minigame. The reason why I put FunKid above Lycan is because FunKid's minigame is a lot more, well, fun. The fake targets add an extra layer of thought that just spam clicking on trees doesn't have, and it's a lot less painful and feels less drawn out because you only have to click on each target once. Also, FunKid is definitely the main face of Chapter 5. That's my personal ranking of all the main chapter normal mode BattleBricks bosses. Do you think that DJ Radical is actually the best boss in the game and that my list is terrible? Let me know down below. I'm honestly just doing side quests at this point instead of making videos about the game that my channel is branded around.